at the courts. And Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i is accusing Miguna Miguna of fueling public attention on his deportation. He says Miguna refused to cooperate with immigration officials in the processing of his Kenyan passport. And as our Murimi Mwangi now tells us, Matiang'i also accused the Kenyan judiciary of colluding with activists in stalling the executive's operations.
In what appears to have been a platform to redeem themselves after receiving a slap of a 200,000 shillings fine each for snubbing court summonses and defying orders to produce in court, the now deported NASA activist Miguna Miguna, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Immigration Principal Secretary Gordon Kihalangwa, and Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet were before the National Assembly Committee on Administration and National Security over the Miguna saga.
We did not deport him. He was a passenger on transit who did not establish himself, who did not identify himself, who did not produce his credentials, and according to international convention, he was removed from the airside of the airport to his last port of call.
If we allowed Miguna to come back into this country without papers, we would have set a precedent that we would have not met internationally.
The task of removing that undocumented immigrant was primarily the duty of the Department of Immigration and its officers. We only came in to support them.
In February, the High Court quashed Miguna's initial deportation to Canada and ordered the Immigration Department to facilitate issuance of Miguna with a fresh passport, a process Miguna claims has been frustrated by government. Allegations Matiang'i and Kihalangwa denied, accusing Miguna of being uncooperative.
ID Miguna has today is actually an invalid document. He will, even when he regains the citizenship, he will have to go to NRB to now get his ID, and then he can now process the passport.
I remember the PS asking me that day, CS, you have to be around so that you sign the document when he has filled it. I said, wherever I am, just call me. I will sign it, bring it.
Do not push him.
Police are reported to have assaulted Miguna's lawyers and journalists at the airport, with Matiang'i, Kihalangwa and Boynet facing fresh calls to quit for unsuitability to hold office over their conviction for contempt of court and perpetual disobedience to court orders relating to the Miguna case. Orders which Matiang'i now claims were unenforceable at the time, accusing the Odunga court of being under capture of activist lawyers and compromised judicial staff.
We have gotten into an unholy relationship with a clique of activist lawyers and oppositionist civil society people with the intention of humiliating the government, stalling the government, embarrassing the government, and making it impossible for the government to perform.
There are so many Kenyans who are in jail, hopefully because of this kind of not proper justice being served on them. So what we need to do is that when I chair, because this is parliament, what the CS should do is you need to, at least if you cannot substantiate properly, I think you should withdraw. Because that statement to me, I think is reckless.
One civil society activist in Kenya has obtained nearly 30 court orders, ex parte, 30 court orders, ex parte from the court. He walks in, he gets an order, comes out. He walks in, he gets an order, comes out. In fact, he could even walk in today and say he wants an order so that all cabinet secretaries commit suicide. You'll get the order.
And with the Kiamba MP Paul Koinange-led committee now drafting a report on the Miguna saga to be later tabled on the floor of the National Assembly, the judiciary, legislature and the executive, it appears, will remain on the spotlight as Miguna continues the fight for his return to Kenya. Now, with the 200,000 shillings fine still hanging on their necks, Matiang'i, Boynet and Kihalangwa still have to pursue their ongoing appeal, even as the Miguna case resumes on Friday. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News.